So joining me today are the authors of a new feminist cookbook called Recipes to Take Down the Patriarchy. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Leighann Blackwood, and I am one of the co-authors of the Recipes to Take Down the Patriarchy, the Feminist Cookbook. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Next, my name is Meghan. I am also a co-author, one of the 3 Recipes to Take Down the Patriarchy. I'm so excited to be here today, especially because chia seed pudding is such a versatile and easy way to customize. And so we all made separate ones, or Leighann is going to make separate ones. So we're going to have different flavors and show you different ways. But this is like a chocolate peanut butter, chocolate banana one. So anyways.
My name is Kayla Carnes, and I am the 3rd co-author, co-founder of Recipes to Take Down the Patriarchy, and just happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So before we start, I just want to say congratulations. I mean, this is no small feat, right? I mean, preparing and organizing and publishing a cookbook, such a great accomplishment. So kudos and congratulations to you, ladies. So I want to dive in and talk about the cookbook. And while we do that, I understand, Lee, you're going to be demoing the chia pudding recipe. So why don't you go ahead and start?
Definitely can. So the first ingredient that we are going to use is obviously chia seeds. So they get everywhere, but they are very versatile little doohickeys. And so we're gonna basically add the chia seeds to a cup or a cup and a half of almond milk, or like a non-dairy milk of your choice. And basically what that's gonna do, you're gonna whisk it. And you're gonna whisk it for like maybe, I'd say like a minute. And what you're gonna wanna get, your consistency will be like this kind of pudding mix. So it's gonna be a little firmer. But to do that, you have to set this in the fridge for about an hour, which I did. So we will have a nice pudding when the time comes. Awesome. And this chia pudding is actually going to have, so the chia seed pudding itself, and then it's going to have a strawberry puree as a base. So what I'm going to do is blend the strawberries to get our base, and then I'm going to add these delicious raspberries and blueberries to our mixture, as well as some sliced almonds. The other thing I forgot to mention is when you're making the pudding, it's going to be the cup of almond milk, the 1/4 cup of chia seeds, and then also a 1/4 cup of honey to give it a little bit of sweetness. You can use agave, you can use any kind of sweetener that you want.
Awesome. Yeah. So while you're mixing that together, Kayla and Meghan, I wanted to talk about the cookbook itself. So tell us about the cookbook.
So the cookbook actually started as a dream, and not like, oh, I had this dream while I was awake. I literally was sleeping and I had a dream that I should make a cookbook called Recipes to Take Down the Patriarchy. And I woke up and like, this is a good idea. And so I like jotted it down and like fell back asleep. Shortly afterwards, Leighann and Kayla are good friends of mine, and we had been doing some creative work together. And I was like, hey, this is an idea I have. Do you think we can make this happen? Would you be in? And these 2 graciously said yes. And so for the last year, like a year exactly. We have been, well, actually we pressed pause a year ago. Exactly. We started in like January a year ago due to COVID. But yeah, so they were in. And so for the last year, we've been researching the most incredible women you've never heard about. Like so many, I mean, Kayla has a tattoo. We'll get there. But really, really incredible women, doing some research into their culture and to the things they enjoyed, and then curating recipes based on them. So not only did we create bios that share their legacy and the incredible things they did and how they pushed back against patriarchy and made the world better for all of us, but we also did recipes in their honor. So there's this misnomer, this bad idea that like feminists can't be in the kitchen. And we love the kitchen, actually. We just want to, the true meaning of feminism is being able to choose where you go. You don't have to be in the kitchen, but if you want to be in the kitchen, go and be in the kitchen. And it was just an idea to celebrate these women, build community, which we did. We fed people during COVID last year. We got involved with Black Lives Matter. We made recipes for our neighbors. We found we were creative with how we could do this in a world that had been flipped upside down. And I'm really, really proud of the product. And so Kayla, did you have anything to add to that?
This project has been so incredible for so many different reasons. And I think sometimes, like, especially in the beginning part of it, when we were doing the majority of our cooking, I would like the first or second time that we did cooking together, I was like, this is really great. Like, I'm glad we're making food. But, something people would keep asking me was, how important is the feminist piece of this? How important is it that you're getting involved in the community and honoring these women? Because it seems a lot more about the food right now. And the further we got into this, and like even just like after that first dinner that we all had together, it became so clear that that was not just like a byline of what we were doing. It was what we were doing. Like, there is no separating the food from the history, and the dinner from the activism. And Meghan and Leighann too have done such an incredible job of weaving the themes of all of these women, and weaving the history and the education through everything that we do, to the point where they truly are inseparable. So you make an empanada, and you can't help but like call to the woman whose history we're honoring, or and Meghan would be able to like actually identify like the exact recipe with the exact woman, because that was like the way that she supported us in this project. I did a lot more of the logistics and things, but it's been so incredibly cool to become educated on these women who most of us had never heard about prior to this project, and who some of our readers might have some niche knowledge on these women and things like that. But the education aspect has been by far the most fulfilling, and getting to see how the legacies of these women were incredible and moving and empowering, 100, 200, 300 years ago, but are just as relevant today and still have power and can influence our lives for the better.
Yeah, absolutely. What a fantastic way to educate everyone. What is your end goal by publishing this type of cookbook?
Another thing I'm going to tie that in, but the thing I forgot to mention is, so history of feminism in the United States is not super great. I'm not sure that people are aware. If we even look at the suffragette movement in the 1920s, white women elevated themselves, put women of color at the back, specifically Black women. It actually really hurt them. Black women specifically in the South didn't even fully gain the right to vote until 1965 in the Voting Rights Act. And so knowing this and being a diverse group, we really wanted to be intersectional and feature cultures far different than our own. And so that's one thing I really love about the cookbook. It's not a bunch of like white women who like marched for the right to vote, though there are a few of those. It is women from, the other side of the world. It is trans women. It is Black women. And so many Black women are not even talked about and how integral they are in our history. And I think that's something that we really also wanted to bring back. And it's not just the American history, it's the story of a global history of women rising up and fighting for equality and making a difference. So I think ultimately our goal is to celebrate these women that have been long forgotten, or maybe even not talked about, because our history, the way we're taught it in the United States, we don't talk about women really. And if we do talk about women, it's certain women, certain white women. And so there's a quote, I forgot who said it, but well-behaved women rarely make history. So we have a lot of women who broke the norms, went against what they were told to do to make a difference, because the truth is, globally, historically, women have always been put at a lower status than men. And so we really wanted to highlight not only how that has been fought against in our own culture, in Black culture, but also we have women from South America who, have made huge advances for women. One of them is, so she mentioned empanadas. one of them is, her name is Evita, as people probably most likely know her, but she was someone who fought a lot in Argentina for women. And she was like the first like woman political figure and started this feminist party in Argentina. And so there's women like her. And then you have women like Cecilia Chung, who fought for trans rights. And we did a cocktail in her honor. And so I think the goal is there's so much more to the story of women than what we've been told. And we want to celebrate and bring those stories to the forefront. But in addition, we want to show that like acts of resistance can start as small as your kitchen. They can start with 3 of your friends getting together, making food, feeding people, calling our senators. We did a whole heck of a lot of that, marching. We just want people to know that their voice matters. Resistance can start in a small way, but it has big effects. And that's the stories that we're telling. And so the idea is you can start a movement, you can make a difference from your kitchen, because that's how these women started. So yeah, Kayla, do you have anything to add to that?
I think you said it. And I don't know if everybody loves to cook, but everybody loves to eat. And so there's like this servant aspect of it too, where maybe you're the person that wants to prepare something for somebody else, or maybe you're the person that shows up. Like we had people every single week, and it was like, I mean, it'd be great if you could like clean a plate, but sometimes people just came and sat and ate, and they were the beneficiaries of what we were doing. And I think that community is like is an exchange. It's a give and a take, and sometimes you're the servant, and sometimes you're the one who's enjoying the fruits of people's labor. And in a lot of ways, like we are enjoying the fruits of the labor of the women that have come before us. And then like what we're doing now is allowing their legacy to continue by sharing it in a way that invites people to kind of come and partake, and who knows what people will be inspired to do just from eating an empanada or eating some mac and cheese. It really can be that simple.
Right, absolutely.
And the recipes are really good. I'm sorry, I have to add that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Test it.
Speaking of recipes, so Lee, do we have the finished product to show?
We do. It's actually really tasty. I'm just going to the page so I can share a little bit about the recipe, but this is the finished product.
Ooh, girl.
Yum.
And there's a little bit of like some almonds. It's just kind of dripping, but it's delicious looking.
Yes.
And the pudding itself is really tasty. So it's really easy to make. And also just like you use like any fresh fruits that you like. You can use figs, you can use berries, like literally anything. I'm going to add some strawberry puree to this bite.
Yeah. I wish I was there now.
I know. I wish you could taste
like assembled mine now. We should put ours together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys want to make variations of chia seed, it's literally so versatile. So if you just add a little bit of cocoa powder to what Leighann already mentioned, so some kind of non-dairy milk with some, I used for my sweetener syrup, maple syrup, and I used cocoa powder, and did the same thing. And so and then I used a banana, because banana is also sweet. And so I blended all of those together and made my chocolate banana. And then because bananas and peanut butters are delicious, I just put a layer of peanut butter here, and some banana. So I haven't tried it yet though, so we'll see.
I love it. Love it.
In our book, we have the recipe here.
Oh, goodness.
It is a big chia seed pudding.
Love it.
I just need to shout out to Leann's photography. Can you show that photo again?
Nice.
It's one of my favorite pictures in the book, because it's also not only a delicious treat, but it actually is so photogenic. So speaking of the book, so basically this recipe specifically was made, so it's a vegan recipe. We have a few vegan recipes in the book, and we also have recipes that you can make vegan. I believe this recipe, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Audre Lorde was a vegan. So we wanted to make sure that we honored her by like putting in some vegan recipes. We also have, I think, the fig tart too, which might be also one of hers. But yeah, she was a vegan, and so stood staunchly like for being like vegan, and that was part of her like active protest in the world. Many acts of protest. She was like an amazing feminist leader. And so the cool thing about the cookbook is that you not only get to make some really interesting and different types of recipes, but also you get to learn about the women that we made these recipes in honor of. So it's like we're very proud of it, like really proud of it.
Yeah. And can you show us some of the bios? And we got our it custom illustrated. So
I have to show you Audre Lorde.
Oh, wow.
So this is the bio of Audre Lorde. It has like some things that, you know, people might not know about her and just what she did. And there's many other bios as well. Madam C.J. Walker. You have Malala. Sophie right here.
So my favorite part of the project, maybe not like my favorite because I have like 57 favorites, but easily one of the best parts for me was what we did at the end, and it was going through and creating custom biographies for the women who we profiled. And so like we got to do a lot of research and we split it up between the three of us, and so we each took like a big chunk of each of the women and figuring out who some of these women were and what they did, and women that I've never even heard of. And so Sophie Scholl for me was the one that was like, she was my girl. And finding out the things that these women have done that have not like never been spoken of, because some people are going to recognize these names, but all in all, they're representing a type of resistance, or were active in a movement or in a community that not many people have heard of. And that's saying like, you know, you never really die until somebody says your name for the last time. Like being able to give this resurgence to all of these women and their legacy, and continue to tell their story and continue to inspire, you know, decades or hundreds of years after, you know, they've been laid to rest, has just been the honor of a lifetime.
Definitely. So where can we find this book? I think you have a launch coming up, so maybe you can talk about that and then where we can find this book.
Yeah, so we have a virtual book launch happening. It's happening on Saturday, April 3rd. It's going to be from about 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, we're going to be just talking a little bit about the book, answering some questions from people who maybe have either been following us in the journey through Kickstarter or have just stumbled across our Instagram page. All right. I'll also give you the book launch, the URL in case people want to sign up, and you can sign up all the way up until the 3rd. So we cannot wait to see you all there.
Right. And Leighann, do you want to tell them about how we'll give them a recipe that they can make with us at the launch? A cocktail, right?
We're going to make a cocktail. I don't know if we know which cocktail we're going to make, but they're all in this book and they're all delicious. We might even, I feel like we maybe should do the watermelon one because it's so beautiful.
That is my favorite.
I mean, they're all gorgeous. Like, look at that.
There it is.
Wow. Wow.
That might be the winner. So yes, please join us on the 3rd because we'll do like a mixology type of thing, and we're all going to make these amazing recipes, and it's going to be great. Be so fun. The book right now is not yet out for print. It will be after our launch, so stay tuned for where you can find it. But if you want to keep up updated about what we're doing, what we have going on, you can find us on Instagram at recipes to take down the patriarchy. You can find us at recipes-takedownthepatriarchy.com. You can also find us on Twitter if you search recipes take down the patriarchy. Also on Facebook. Yeah, literally just Google recipes take down the patriarchy and you will find us. And we will be there. But we cannot wait to get this book out to the public and get it just, for people to enjoy and start making recipes. And we're very proud of this work. And yeah, I think what Kay said, it was just an honor of a lifetime to be able to just do this work, not only about these great women, but also with these great women that I got to work with too. It was really awesome.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And I will definitely put all of the links down below, so that way they can find you. Thank you again so much. This was such an honor for me. So I really appreciate you being on the show, and I can't wait for the book launch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.